and gentlemen, boys and girls. So today we are going to do a review of the M48A2 Raumpanzer. I know you've probably already seen the review on Quickie, Babies, Des Games, and so on and so forth because um, obviously they got community contributor accounts, so they get these tanks before they're released to us. I don't get it until it's released, obviously, so I got to wait till it gets released so I can buy it. Then once I buy it, I take it out and tell you what I think about it. I'll tell you right now, I thought the turret armor was only supposed to be 177, and I noticed it's 254. So I don't know if they did a buff on it before the release, because they were talking like on Quickie Baby and Des Gamers review like 3 or 4 days ago. They were like, "Oh yeah, it's getting released today," and I'm like, "Well, crap, are they going to release it in the U.S.?" And I can't remember, but I could have swore they said it had 177 frontal turret armor and this one's got 254. So I don't know, maybe if they buffed it up before they released it or something. But anyways, I digress. So anyways, we took her out, and you're gonna see that match. And a lot of people on videos I saw of it. Even if they say it's a pile of shit, I'm still gonna buy it because, well, for one, I collect tanks. Two, I like to be able to do reviews for you guys to tell you whether or not I think it's worth it. Save your money. Don't buy it, or it's one of the best tanks you're ever gonna get, or it's just mediocre, whatever tank. And I noticed a lot of the videos they're making this huge deal about that big old commander's hatch. And it is big, and it is easy to hit, and in the replay you're going to see that's mainly where they were penning me, from across the map. I mean, it's not... If you got a tank that's even got decent dispersion, yeah, they're going to pen that thing all day long. But unlike me, with the crew I have, at 30 crew members at 72%, 67%, 62%, brothers in arms, food, you name it, and I maxed it out on everything I could. My dispersion is still 0.38. I mean, holy crap, I've got artillery that had better dispersion than that. The gun is very, very, very inaccurate. And as you're going to see, when I was aiming at weak spots on the KV4, I was hitting the side of the turret, and I was aiming. Every time I aimed at the KV4, I was aiming at the big commander's hatch at the top of the turret. And just to give you an idea, I got battle hits on here, which I love because then I can show you what I'm talking about. And you can see, look at this shot, boom, right there. This is where I was getting mainly penetrated. And this was from a tank that was, I'm guessing, I'm going to say about 350 yards away from me. I mean, he was quite a ways away. And he was penning that easy frickin' cheesy. A couple times I moved, so when they were aiming at that, I moved forward and hit the front of the turret. But that's how you really got to keep that thing safe from not hitting that. Is you got to really keep wiggling around. Just move the turret left and right, and just shake the tank back and forth, back and forth. But yeah, everybody knows to aim for that. He didn't even aim at the side. He could hit me in the side, but nope, aimed right for that commander's hatch because it sticks up so big. But this is my shooting at what I was aiming at. So this, believe it or not, I was aiming at commander's hatch. Either commander's hatch or front lower plate, or trying to detrack him. At that angle, I was probably trying to hit him in the front drive wheel. I can almost guarantee that's probably where I was aiming. This gun is really inaccurate. Now this I was aiming for, he had the stock turret, so he didn't have the huge commander's hatch, but that's still got that's even easier to penetrate because it's not as big, but it's weak as hell. I was actually aiming up here. Look where the round hit. And I don't think he was actually moving back and forth, like wiggling. IS-6, I was aiming for the top of his turret up here. Look where it hit. Same, I was aiming for this up here. That one got a little bit closer, and this is letting it shrink all the way in. It's not like I was clutch shotting it. I was setting still, letting it shrink all the way in, and that's why I was getting penetrated, because when I would let it shrink in, waiting for it to shrink in to aim at a weak spot, I'm setting still, and boom, boom, they would put a round or 2 rounds to go right through my commander's hatch. KV4, again, I was going for the um, commander's hatch, and you can see it hit the gun mantle, so a little bit closer, but still not close enough. And the Super Pershing, or excuse me, the T-26E4, I think I was aiming for the commander's hatch on that shot. Super Pershing, I was aiming for the commander's hatch. This one here, that one, obviously I was aiming for the side. Taking his track off, aiming for the side. That one I was actually, whoops, sorry about that. I was actually aiming for his track again, and it hit up here. Still penetrated, because I was using premium rounds, so I got lucky that it wasn't heat. But I was trying to take his track off, and again, look where it hit. I mean, it's very, very, very inaccurate. Um, Hit him in the that one actually hit where I was aiming. I was probably aiming more to the left a little bit to knock his track off, but hey, it worked. KV4 again aiming for this commander's hatch. Look where I hit. Again, KV4 commander's hatch, and I hit here. ELC I was aiming for somewhere up at the front. All I did was knock his track off. That thing's tiny anyways, but I mean, you can see this just very, very inaccurate. This, he was sitting still, and he was up on a hill. I took a shot, hit the dirt. Then I took a second shot, and it did penetrate. I was aiming for up here, like in this area right here, and you can see how low it actually went. So, yeah, gun accuracy on this is definitely 100% not a sniper. So, a lot of people were making a big deal about this big commander's hatch, which it does good and it does bad. Obviously, it's a weak spot. Everybody shoots it, but it's good because it sticks so high up that it is able to spot a lot of stuff. And I got a lot of assisted damage for spotting stuff because of that. But everybody makes a big deal about it. And if you look at the TL1 LPC, that's got a pretty good size commander's hatch. T95E2, big old commander's hatch. And you notice these are mostly American. It's kind of a thing. The M48A5 Patton, still got a pretty good sized commander's hatch. Watch this one, T95E6. This is a premium prize tank for Clan Wars reward. Look at the commander's hatch on this. Look at that. That thing's flipping huge, and it's weak as hell, too. AMX-30 TL1 prototype, big commander's hatch. AMX-30B, big old commander's hatch. STA-1, big old commander's hatch. STA-2, big old commander's hatch. Type 61, look at that thing. That's even bigger. 59 Patton, look at that one. So and that was just picking real quick out of some 8s and 9s and 10s. I didn't go through and actually look at every single one of them, but I mean, a lot of these tanks have huge commander's hatches, and I mean, look at that thing. If you thought that one was big, look at that one on that 59 Patton. That's that one plus some. So, I mean, yeah, it does suck that it does stick up there, but it's not like it's the only tank. It's not like, oh my God, they just look at what they did. They ruined this tank because of that. It's been on tanks ever since. I mean, these STA2s have been in the game since back in 2012, I think. Maybe, yeah, about 2012. Maybe, I'm saying 2012, so end of 2011. So it's not like, you know, these things have not had weak spots, but like Quickie Baby does games and Klaus Kellerman, they're all talking about that commander's hatch, like, oh, don't buy the tank because of that big old weak spot. I mean, look at that. That thing is all day long they pin that thing. I mean, this thing's got awesome turret armor, 342. You know, it's got the same, basically the same turret as the T95 FB4201 or whatever it is, but that doesn't have this god awful commander's hatch, so it's a lot stronger. This here, they pen that thing all day long. I could think I'm over a hill with my gun depressed. I'll start coming over the hill to take a shot, and next thing you know, I'm getting penetrated going, wait, how the hell are they hitting me? Because they're going right through this, because that shows up way before I can get my gun over a hill on a ridge. So, yeah, that is sucks. It is a weak spot, but it also does spot enemies pretty good. And it made our experience bump up a lot because of having that big commander's hatch, because we were able to spot enemies from quite a distance. But so anyways, let's just go over it real quick. I know you guys probably already know about it, so I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time about it. The front is awesome. The whole frontal armor is awesome. If you're top tier, tier 9s and obviously 10s, all I got to do is press 2 and they're going to go right through that blade. I might see if my son can take a tank and we'll take it into a training room and I'll angle it and see how it bounces, and if I can get him to do that, we'll add that video in. I'll add that part into the video. If not, well, I know it sucks, but anyways, so the gun on this is Not the best. 205 standard pen, 255 premium. You do get APCR, which is nice. I've always liked APCR. You do lose penetration over distance, but it's a lot faster. And let's see if we can give you a speed here. Yeah, so 972 on your standard AP round, 1177. So your APCR is a lot faster, and that's why I like to shoot APCR because it gets to the you don't have to lead the target so much, and it's got a better punch because obviously that's your premium round, so it bumps you up. But 205, that's okay. It's workable if you're top tier. If you're bottom tier and you're seeing tier 10s, 255 is right at that cutoff where it's like a 50-50 chance to penetrate the front lower plates of some of the tier 10s. So hopefully you're only seeing a lot of tier 8s and 9s and hopefully mostly tier 8s. And if you're bottom tier, kind of stick on the back and support your top tiers. Your HE round is 45 pen, which kind of, it's pretty low, so don't plan on doing a lot of damage. It's just not going to penetrate to do 320 average damage. You'll probably be hitting for 25, 30, 50, depending on what you hit. 240 average damage. Like I said, I wish it were 280. Average damage per minute stock is 1895. Dispersion stock 0.42, which is awful. Aim time is 1.9, which is doable. Once you get a decent crew in there like I have, and you use food and all the stuff, I went with gun rammer, the vertical stabilizers, and coated optics for view range. It had okay. I mean, stock the view range wasn't like whoa. It was like 380, I think, something like that. So we were able to max it out with the food and the coated optics to get a pretty good view range. My rate of fire is 9.77 rounds a minute, so my reload is 6.14 seconds. Pretty darn good. Our gun traverse is 33.42, haul traverse is 38.99, so pretty good. Gun depression is negative 9 plus 19, pretty good. I wish it were negative 10, but negative 9 is pretty darn good. I got my aim time down to 1.71 seconds, pretty darn good. My dispersion still sucks at 0.38. I mean, that's just, for a medium, that is awful. I mean, I could see something like a heavy tank, like a Moss or something, being like that because that's a front, get right in their face and punch them. This, I mean, you get right in their face, they're just going to aim up at this and pen you until you're dead. My average damage per minute is 2345. That's not bad. That's pretty darn good. You get 1,450 hit points for a medium. Tier 8, that's actually 50 hit points higher than most of them. This is an American tank, but it's actually a German tank. I don't know if they just like had captured one and put a bulldozer blade on it and said, okay, this is now a German tank, but it's actually basically like a T95E2 or your M48 Patton, body. Um, your hull armor is 152 in the front, 254 on the turret in the front. So the front is pretty heavily armored, which is really good. The nice thing about this bulldozer blade is they can't say, oh, there's your lower plate. They got to kind of guess. And really hard to even see the lower plate. We'll look at the armor inspector to get a better idea. On the sides, you got 76 on the hull, 76 on the turret. And on the rear, you got 25 on the hull, 50 on the turret. So hopefully no one shoots you with HE in the hull in the rear, or they're going to, yeah, pretty well mess you up. It looks pretty darn cool. Obviously, the bulldozer blade looks pretty neat. It adds some spaced armor there, I think like 30 millimeters. So, I'm not going to complain. The more armor, the better. Spaced armor makes it nice because heat rounds, will explode out on the shovel versus going through it. So that means if somebody's got AP for their standard, heat for their premium round, they can shoot you with that heat round, and it's going to explode on the outside of the shovel. Now HE, it'll hit the shovel and it might splash and do some splash damage depending on how much the penetration is and the caliber of the gun. Like a 152, 155, somebody hits you with an HE shell with that, it's probably going to do some damage. It's pretty heavy, 50.3 ton. Engine is 650 horsepower. 3 specific power to weight sucks at 12.92. It is slow. Top speed and forward is 40. You won't see that too very often. And reverse is 18. Kind of a weird speed. Usually they do 20 or 10. I think I've seen a couple at 15, but 18. But hey, whatever. The more speed to help you back out of a position, the better off you are. Concealment 10.92. Yeah, that's Nothing really. And I've got my view range up to 469, and that's with chocolate coated optics, brothers in arms, recon skill, and situational awareness. So that's what it took to get it up to 469. So that's why I got a lot of assisted spotting damage because I can spot the stuff at quite a distance. And my signal range is 830. So anyways, just real quick, I know people are going to say, well, you think we should get it, not get it. Recommendation, if you like a slow medium um, with iffy armor, but can really get penetrated every time in this commander's hatch. Um, it's yeah. I mean, the thing is you're really going to have to try and hide this, and you can't really hide the. I mean, maybe if you come up at a angle off the hill like this instead of this. Because, well, you might be able to hide it with your gun, come over the hill. As soon as you shoot, lift your gun up and put it in front, like that, and that'll help hide it. Because if you just come straight up, I mean, mm, yeah, I guess if you collect tanks, I mean, it's neat. It's got a shovel on the front of it. Um, if you don't have like the T95E2 or the 59 Patton or the TL1 LPC, then yeah, I'd get it. If you could get, pick between this and the TL1 LPC, I'd go with this all day, the TL1 PC all day long before I go with this one because the TL1 LPC's got a better gun, better everything. It's just a way better tank all the way around. Um, if you're mediocre to just starting, probably wouldn't waste the money. You're going to get really frustrated with this commander's Coppola getting penned so easy from literally across the map. And I'm going to do two replays because the very first one, which I always show, this thing, you'll see what I mean. They were penetrating it from literally across the map. I haven't done the second match yet, so I may or may not put another one in there. It just depends on how long, if I quit talking and shut my mouth because the video is just getting longer and longer. But let's stop here for a minute. We'll look at Armor Inspector, and then we'll have some gameplay and some post-game stats. So I will be right back. Alrighty, well, they don't have the visual model, collision model, live model, anything up so you can see what the armor is. You can see it just says 0 no matter where you point. So, unfortunately, I can't really go over Armor Inspector. I just kind of wanted to show you so, you knew I wasn't yanking your chain. Unfortunately, it's not up. Yeah, if you go to the hybrid model, you can see the hull superstructure, but if you go to like the collision model, it's just green. So, yeah, it definitely is not up in Armor Inspector yet, which is kind of a bummer. But yeah, so if you want to hold on for a minute, we'll have some gameplay and some post-game stats for you. So I'll be right back, guys. Alrighty, so I'm just kind of taking a peek at our kind of team lineup, um, comparing WNA to see who's kind of the better team, and it's pretty darn neck and neck. I think their top tier players have a little bit better players than we do, um, especially the guy in the that tank and trucker guy. He's just a crappy player. No, I'm just kidding. I decided to go this way just due to the fact that on the lineup that we had, I noticed we had a lot of mediums, not a lot of heavies. We got the 50. I'm just gonna pause it real quick. 50 TP, ISM, and then I think we had a heavy tank actually go. Yeah, we had our IS3A, and he I don't think knew what to do. Um, yeah, so we only really had three heavy tanks. The rest were mediums, tank destroyers, and a couple lights. It looked like they actually had a pretty good lineup of heavies and a pretty good lineup of mediums. Um, they had an IS6, KV4, T2065, Lance and C, a couple of the M48 Raumpanzers, a couple autoloaders, super Pershing, so they had some pretty heavy armor. I hate it when my frickin' reticle bounces up and down when somebody's on the ridge of a hill like that. It's just irritating. See it bouncing? So you can't get an aim off sometimes because and it's been doing that forever. I mean, it seems like well, I don't know. They can't get the Halloween event to work, so maybe they don't. They're afraid of messing with the coding on making it so it doesn't bounce. Your reticle doesn't bounce up and down, or it'll screw something up there. So let me stop the game just real quick to explain myself here, because a lot of people are going to be like, "Oh, you're just a sniping bitch." Well, no, not really. What happened was our 50 TP got up there, and he got up there way too fast. I kind of melandered back here because for one, this isn't the fastest tank. It is pretty slow, but when I saw that light tank over on the what is it, the 4 line basically right here. I thought I'd get a shot off at him, kind of, so it kind of slowed me down a little bit, and then I got up to this point, and all we had was a 50 TP and an ISM. They had a T26 E5P, LT432, KV4. They had several tanks kind of rolling up that way. So my biggest fear in our IS3's over. Where is he? Oh, he's right over here. Okay. But anyways, so I felt like I was hoping the 50 TP would get out of there. But he didn't. He kind of stuck it out and he got himself kind of in a bad pickle because the ISM didn't push forward and I wasn't going to try and push forward in this thing because for one, it's a medium tank. Two, with that big commander's hatch, the closer you are, the easier it is to get a shot off at that thing. At distance makes it harder, obviously, because it's smaller. So I didn't want to get up in their face and just say, "Oh, shoot me here," because obviously it's going to be easy to pen the closer you are. So I kind of stopped right here and just figured, okay, I'm going to hold up here, see if I can get any shots off. And this is where the .338 accuracy rears up its ugly face, and I'd say for almost 3/4 of the match, I did 0 damage. I was back here, and the one good thing about this thing with that big old commander's hatch, you spot stuff really, really well. So I was getting a lot of can't even talk, assisted spotting damage because, and if you watch damage upon spotting, and you watch down here, that goes up. I did almost like 2,000 assisted damage in spotting because our 50 TP for one gets knocked out, but he must not have it set up with any kind of vision at all if he's not getting the assisted damage for spotting that stuff. I mean, I guess it doesn't make any sense to me, but see, now they got an IS6, KV4, T26C5, all heavily hard to hurt armored stuff, and they also have, excuse me, a couple mediums over here. So the IS3 gets up there, and he's like a day late and a dollar short. So we got 3 heavies up there, and my little self here. And I'm still getting assisted spotting damage from back here. So, I mean, yeah, a lot of people and myself do not like that honking huge commander's hatch, but let me tell you, it's about the only way at first I was getting any kind of damage assist was by spotting stuff because I wasn't penning anything, and you can see pretty much that except for that one right here, which that ring right down there I think is kind of a weak spot. Everybody starts aiming up here and starts actually penning it from way over there. But the accuracy so bad I couldn't hit. The KV4 had the stock turret. I'll try and zoom in if I can here to give you a better view, but I'm pretty sure he had the stock turret, so he does. He still got a big commander's hatch, but not as big as the commander's hatch. See right there? Oops. Oh, dang it all. Um, I'll try and pause it when I'm not shooting or something here. He's got the stock turret, so right there. If you look, it's a smaller commander's hatch. It's not because on the upgraded turret, and if you look at his hit points, I think it's what, 14, 13, okay, 1600. Yeah, you get 16, I think 1650 with the upgraded turret. And you also have a commander's hatch that takes up almost the full roof of the turret. It's like a three-bedroom apartment. So with that, he was keeping that commander's hatch hid pretty well. So I don't know if maybe he was doing that on purpose, but the gun that you get with the stock turret is definitely not as good as the, oh, what is that? It's 300 average damage per, it was a ZS7, ZIS 6 7, something like that. So yeah, it doesn't tell me on this. I thought it might. Nah, it's just my stats. So yeah, and the turret obviously on the KV4 is pretty darn hard to pen. So yeah, everything I had shots at was pretty slim to none. They did a good job keeping Hall down on the enemy team did, and so those two are dead, and well, actually three of our heavies over there are dead, and our IS-3 was just clueless and got over there a day late and a dollar short. And look at that, from across the map right through the commander's hatch. And that's what happens time and time again, even at this distance from tanks. They just, and the thing is with the aim on this, I mean, I've got to stop and aim. That one there, I got saved because the only reason he missed, and you can see it right at my gun. And if you think about it, I was up higher, so what happened was when I started backing up, it screwed his shot up. He was probably aiming for that commander's hatch. If you sit still with any amount of tanks in front of you for any time to let the reticle shrink in, they just pen right through your commander's hatch. You go right through you easy cheesy. So you really got to try and snapshot your shots. Like that on the Super Persian. Get the shot off, wait till you reloaded, pull up, shoot, back up. And I'm not even back far enough. If you stop and back up probably, yeah, I don't know how far I can go back here. Quite a ways. But you can still, I don't know if you're going to see it from, you might be able to see it from the Super Pershing. Yeah, you can still see my commander's hatch from way back here. So that thing, the commander's hatch on that, even though it looks like I'm kind of hauled down, look at that. Definitely not. So I think I'm safe, but even the Super Persian can hit me, and if he can hit me, those guys up there can probably hit me. So, well, it would be really iffy. They might still be able to hit my commander's hatch. I don't know. So you got to kind of get your shots off. I'm really melandering these shots. I'm taking a long time, letting it aim in. Right there. Did you see what happened? So I'm sitting still to get a shot on this E4. And like I said, I thought I was hauled down. Wasn't sure. Well, that just showed me. No, I'm not, because there was two more right through my commander's hatch. They just tear that commander's hatch up. So even though, and I mean, look, it really looked, it was kind of, I'm like, maybe I am hauled down. And I just backed up a little bit. So obviously you can see, it looks like I'm hauled down. For my perspective, I am like, this is what I'm seeing. Look at that hill. Well, you would think you're hauled down. Well, nope. That is up high enough for them to hit. I mean, you got goods and bads with commander's hatches like that. It's easier to spot enemy players because it sticks up higher, so you can go on along ridge lines and just kind of drive with that hanging up over a little bit, and you can literally spot people without going up over the ridge line because your commander's hatch sticks up so darn high that it spots everything. And you can see everybody's aiming for this commander's hatch. I don't blame them. That's what I aim for too on these because that's the weak spot on this. And then I see the ELC and I take a shot, kind of miss, and I know I'm in deep crap because I got the mutts back here. But if you look behind me, I got a whole team of tanks coming behind me and to the side of me. So I was thinking about making it to these rocks, but not kind of pushing too far because then I'm just going to get shot from these guys up here. So what I wanted to do is get up into these rocks and use these rocks kind of to cover my, would be my east side, or east side here, I guess, too. And then I could kind of use the rock formation to kind of block anything from my left. So I start zinging up here. I see the ELC just kind of sitting there. I think, oh, easy shot. Not with the accuracy on this gun. at all. So now I'm getting shot in the butt. We're done. We're pretty much done. I mean, I'm trying to get out of there, and then I see that LT-432. I'm like, okay, I want to at least get over 1,000 damage. Look at that. That was shrunk all the way in, but because of that .38 accuracy, I was aimed right there, and it dropped down and hit the dirt, and I completely missed. And I'm thinking, oh, come on, just give me a. I just want to break 1,000 damage, at least 1,000 damage. I know it's crap damage, but at least it's 1,000. You know, I hate not doing at least 1,000 damage. So I'm like, all right, here we go, and loaded, and we finally we hit it, and boom. So making sure I got that shot for that extra little bit of damage, get 1,000 damage. Well, I was gonna die no matter what. There's one tank left. I mean, there's a pile of them to the left. There is a pile of them to the right. There's a pile of them coming behind me. There's just tanks freaking everywhere. I knew no matter what, I was gonna die. So, um, even if, I probably should have maybe went off to the right and used this rock right here. Because you can get up in behind. You can get up. God darn it! Sorry about guys. You can get up behind that. I could have got up in there and maybe used that to help protect me, but I was trying to just get a shot into that 432, which he was full health, so at least he took some damage too. So, haha. But yeah, we got pretty well just rolled in this match. Um, yeah, we had a couple players that, yeah, we just won't even go there. But anyways, if you want to hold on, I'll have some post-game stats for you, and I'm going to go ahead and get a second replay because this one was just pretty pitiful, and hopefully the next one's a little bit better. So if you want to hold on, I will be back to post-game stats and one more match. Alrighty, so here's the results of that match. We kind of got romple stomped. And that was the first match that I took it out in, and we had one of our tanks, the 50 TPPR. He pushed up like crazy, like too fast. There was a couple heavies up that way. I stopped to try to take a couple of shots at their little ELC, and so I kind of got lagged behind, and then I started pushing up. And by the time I was starting to get ready to push up, I noticed the 50 TP, and he was yelling for help, and I felt bad because I wanted to get up there to help him, but this has got good frontal armor, but I'm telling you, the commander's hatch on this it's a super weak spot. I mean, they were hitting me from where I was at, across the map, no problem, going right through it. So unfortunately, he got tore up. There was somebody over by him, and they didn't even push forward to help him, which I think if they would have pushed forward to help him, he would have been there. Then I would have been able to push up. But by the time I come up over the hill a little bit to try helping him, it was too late. There was already like 4 or 5 tanks in that area, and I knew he was going to get taken out. So there was no use of me getting up there because it would have just been they would have knocked him out, knocked me out, and it were kept right on rolling around. So I just stayed where I was and tried putting pressure on him, getting shots off. Unfortunately, the shots I was getting were hitting a lot of gun mantles and turrets. I wasn't getting any really good weak point shots, so didn't do a lot of damage. Got a lot of shots off, but it just wasn't penetrating. Um, we ended up the IS-6. We bounced around from him, and we did spot a lot of stuff. The commander's hatch on this, you got to look at the pros and cons. It's got a huge commander's hatch, and yes, it is a weak spot, and it does suck because it's easy to penetrate. But also, when it sticks up like that, you do spot a lot of the enemy team, and we did. We spotted a lot of stuff. The IS-6, we spotted him, and he got hit for 231. We bounced around from the KV-4 for 390, and we spotted him for 727. The T-26E5P, we bounced around from him for 240, and we spotted him, and he got hit for 200. The Progetto 46, he got a shot into us, but we bounced it for 240. I'm sorry, these are the shots coming into us, obviously. Now the Super Persian there, he kind of lurched forward. We hit him 4 times for 924. I think is it 230 average damage on this? 240. I hate 240. I wish it were 280 on anything that was a tier 8. The 240 just sucks. There's a couple tanks that only hit for 230 that are tier 8. If you're at a medium tank, I think it should hit for at least 270. It'd be kind of a weird number, but 270, 280. That 240 it just seems like you got to shoot stuff a gazillion times to do any, get any damage in. I mean, we hit that Super Pershing 4 times and didn't even do 1,000 damage to him. 924. We knocked out his ammo rack, knocked out his track, kept him kind of tracked there for a little bit. He did get hit for 576 upon us knocking his track off, which we did track him a couple times. Um, I was able to penetrate him and knock his track off, which worked out great. The ELC even 90, I did take a couple shots at him. I did hit his track. I'm like, crap, the round on this thing's as big as his tank, and all it did was knock his track off. You gotta be kidding me. But he did get hit for 401 upon us knocking his track off. The LT 432, he was getting some shots at stuff um, at a position he had kind of hauled down on a hill, but we were able to get a shot off at him for 228. The dispersion on this gun really does suck. I'm telling you, the position I held, the only reason I didn't push forward is because I knew they were going to be able to penetrate the commander's hatch super easy. But it really didn't matter because even far away they were able to just throttle that damn commander's hatch. I mean, seriously, I'd have been probably better off just pushing forward trying to get weak spot shots at enemy tanks versus trying to get shots that haul down stuff at that distance with that. I mean, I've got a decent crew in this tank and brothers in arms and whatnot, and it's still .35. Oh, excuse me, I'm looking at the wrong tank. So I'm not sure what my dispersion is. We're looking at that's not even the right tank. That's the Pershing. That was something I wanted to talk about, but anyways, or that we just talked about. But anyways, so we did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 most damage at 1152, but we did get the most experience at 421 because of spotting all that stuff. And again, it's because of that commander's hatch. It's one of those, you know, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't, because it's got that commander's hatch. You pop up over a hill, you get hit in the commander's hatch, but it also sticks up enough to where you spot stuff pretty easy. I've got the way I've got it set up, and it's just got a really good view range, which is nice. So we did get the most experience, but we did not do the most damage. We had 21 shots, 16 hit, and only pen 5, but a lot of shots, like I said, that I was getting off were hitting gun mantles, just turrets. It does not aim where you're aiming it because the dispersion isn't the best in the world. But we got hit 10 times. We did get penetrated 6, but we did bounce 4 for 1,260 damage blocked. We damaged 3, destroyed 0 damage with our assistance was 2,135. I shot literally all premium rounds because the standard round on this is only 205. I'm looking at the wrong tank. It is 205. And from the distance I was at, just small commander's hatches. Commander's hatches are, you really need good penetration because a lot of them, unless they stick up like they do on this thing, like on your Super Pershing, the commander's hatch there doesn't really stick up too high, but it's a smaller target, so you need to have good penetration. So if you hit near it, you actually still penetrate it versus bouncing. So we ended up losing 49,000 credits, which, like I've told you guys a million times, I don't play for credits anyways. I play for the WN8, for trying to gun mark stuff. So a lot of times you'll see people that shoot a lot of just premium rounds due to the fact that they're trying to, 1, 2, 3 or mark tanks, and your odds of penetrating are a lot better when you're using premium rounds. So then you get the experience. So then you get the gun marks and the experience, and so on and so forth. But also for this, because of the distance I was at, I wanted to make sure that I had a round that had decent penetration by the time it got to the target, because it is APCR on, not, well, just as I know it's Pershing, but it is APCR on the M48A2 Raumpanzer. And anyways, yeah, so you're going to lose penetration over distance. But yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed that match. If you did, please click the like button down below and subscribe to the channel. You guys take it easy, be safe, and I will see you on the battlefield. Alrighty, so here we go again in the M48 Raumpanzer. I love to go to the left on this map, kind of in no matter what I take. I prefer to be in something that's got some armor if I go to the left, because a lot of times you get artillery that'll set back in A1 and just lob round after round over, right up straight at you. So it's nice to have some armor. They did have one artillery, Crusader SP. It doesn't hit for a lot, but it shoots fast, and they can just chew you up and spit you out. I don't like to throw people under the bus. I've said this time and time again, but we've had a couple players. We had one player on our team with a win 8 of 15, 1-5. And we had a couple players that, like a 200 WN8. And looking at the lineup, I was thinking, I'm like, we got a pretty good chance of winning this. And, well, we'll see what happens. It's up in the air as I'm driving this way, and pretty much the whole team's going the other way. I'm like, oh man, this is not going to work out good. And then I looked, and we did have a couple heavies kind of coming this way. Um, One thing about this tank I thought I was going to have an issue with was your gun depression. Thinking the shovel was going to be in the way, but it seems to work out fine, even with that big old blade there. But as you can see, yeah, kind of coming up this way myself. I'm watching 1357. He's getting lights on the TS5 and the 45 TP. I got one premium round loaded, and then I was going to go to standard, but once I saw that TS5, I knew, well, I'm keeping it on premium rounds, because in order to get through that thing, 205 pen is really going to struggle. It's got really good armor. And I wanted to be able to basically just work on his commander's hatch, and the commander hatch on that is awful good. I saw the EBR hatch coming this way, and I'm like, oh my god, this is going to be one quick friggin' game. Unfortunately, you can see with the great aim on this, what did come over here? Was that the Super Pershing? Oh no, the 53 TP. Yeah, the .38 accuracy on this, you're not going to snapshot stuff. You really got to let it aim in. You can see that I got to sit there kind of a long time, and I hate doing that, because that's how they get shots at your weak commander's hatch and put rounds through you. So you got to kind of try and aim real quick and shoot. And doing that, you're not going to penetrate stuff. He was nice enough to pull forward, get shot, and then start backing up, pull forward again, and get shot again. So you can see I'm trying to get the shots off as quick as I can, because that TS5 hits for 400. You know, basically 4 shots from him, I'm dead. Not even 4 shots, 3.5. You got 1,450 hit points. KV3, he kind of pulled forward in front of the TS5. I'm like, hey, that's whatever. That's good for me. That's, damage I'm going to get done. So I'm trying to aim in on that commander's hatch, and finally hit one for 253. And then I saw our T71 back there. I'm like, oh, sweet. I was actually really going to push. And then I thought, no, that guy made a mistake. And then I saw the A44. I'm like, holy crap, are we just rolling over these guys? Well, I'm trying, and this is where, again, the accuracy I'm trying to hit that commander's hatch, which is pretty good size. And you can see even with a premium round, we bounced right there. So 205, yeah, this is premium at 250 something, 255 I think it is, and that bounced off there. And I'm aiming for his commander's hatch with this. I mean, I don't want to say you're kind of even as top tier. You got to sling a lot of premium, because I probably could have got away with the 205 pen, but I've got to hit the weak spot, and with this .38 accuracy, it's hard to hit these weak spots. I mean, I'm aiming here and I hit there. Now, with a premium round, at least if you hit, you know, something in that area, you're still going to penetrate and do damage. But the problem I had is hitting the damn thing. I was hitting the rock, hitting the ground, shooting over them. I mean, put the accuracy on this for a medium is just super sad. And then to hit that TS5 twice so far in that commander's hatch, I was just basically jumping for joy. But when I saw the A44 and the T71 over here, I'm thinking, oh wow, we're doing really good. I'm really focused on, the tanks in front of me. I'm trying to, because I'm thinking, if, worst case scenario, we can you know, the 45 TP is almost dead. I mean, we got a 53 TP, myself, and the KV3. We got Artie back there. We're doing pretty good. We can get rid of him real quick. The TS5, he's down just almost a half his health. The damage that has been done on him is only for me, and their KV3 is down to about half his health. So this side is, we're not looking bad. I didn't realize the other side basically lost the hill, and they got two of those M48s. I think coming down the hill there. Did they lose one? Nope. Basically, they lost their artillery, which kind of helped us, and their EBR and a Panther. But if you look, we've lost getting we've lost 5 people. So yeah, we've already lost close to a quarter of our team there. Um, And at the time, I wasn't really watching the other side, but we've got one medium tank, which KV-13 is actually pretty darn good. But I mean, you're going against some very heavily armored tanks like the M48. I thought there was two of those over there. I'm not really sure. But Progetto autoloader, I mean, 3 shots they can take out the KV-13. They got the super Pershing. Just they had a bunch of stuff coming that way, and all they had was a KV-13, a Scorpion, our LT 432, which I don't know why our light tank's still sitting back by the cap. He should have been up here somewhere trying to, get up around them, shoot them in the backside, come up this way, start working on side shots into the tank destroyers, take out the T-71DA and start shooting these guys in the back. But he's back here. I don't know. I just don't know. But anyways, so just to get back to the match here, as you can see, I hit the rock again, and that's fully shrunk in. So, like I'm saying with this thing, and that time we shot over him. So that's like 3 or 4 shots. I think 3 shots. Fully aimed in, I finally hit him, and I get hit with an HE shell from the IS, and he did 42 damage. Oh, and he hit the side of the turret there. So yeah, he hit 254 millimeter thick armor. Well, the side's probably not quite that thick, but it's still probably pretty thick, and he only did 42 damage. So I don't know if he got mad that I was trying to, wiggle wiggle him out of here, and then the KV3 pulls right out in front of him. I'm like, oh my god, please don't die there. And yeah, I think what happened was the IS-6 was just like figuring if he shot HEs, he's at least going to get some damage done. Because that time he hit me for 94. And the funny thing is, he hit the commander's hatch. If he would have had a standard or even a premium round loaded and went through that commander's hatch, he would have done like 390 damage. But nope, he's shooting HE, and unfortunately for him, good for me, he only did 94 damage. So he did 300 less damage because he's shooting HE. So basically he's done 90, so we'll say 90, 110, 20, about 125 damage, where he would have been up to about 450 off of just me if he would have been shooting or standard or premium rounds that time. But that's why I don't like HE, because it's so you just can't count on it. Now this shot, he got taken out before my shot got off, and so I'm thinking to myself, it's time to push in. I got to start moving, because I'm watching the mini map now and I'm seeing these 2 medium tanks. There's a Cheery, a Progetto, M41. There's still a lot of stuff up there that's going to get shots on these guys once they get lit up. So our best bet is to push in here, get these guys gone, and hopefully be able to turn around and go back towards our cap. We get a shot into the TS5, finish him off, and I'm just kind of wiggling around to kind of hide my weak turret there, moving back and forth, just don't sit still. And he hit my driver, so let's see where he put that one. Oh, he put it right through the shovel. Very interesting. I gotta say, I was a little surprised just now when I saw that. I thought he actually hit my commander's hatch. I didn't realize he hit the shovel. So we're at an angle. I know that thing's got it's like 232 pen for its standard round. It's got a really good gun, 300 average damage, and he did 301. So he did an average roll. But boom, right through the shovel. Wow, and that's like 30 millimeters of spaced armor. Unfortunately, Tanks GG or Armor Inspector still doesn't have the model up for it, so I still can't show you. But yeah, he shot in the best place he could because he went right through the shovel and right through what looks like he went. I'm thinking the lower plate, but it might even be right in the middle. So wow. But yeah, I knew he needed to be gone next because he's got one hella gun, obviously. And he's got that huge, enormous, he's got two tumors on that thing, one on the left side and one on the right. So all you gotta do is aim kind of up on that and you're bound determined to hit him somewhere. And then the KV3, and you can see I forgot to take it off premium. And, you know, I feel like a scumbag because I was shooting all premium rounds, but I just completely forgot. And now I'm looking, I'm like, we're in deep trouble. There's myself artillery and what was that last tank? I can't even see what I think that's the LT-30, yeah, 432 is the light tank. So how much health does he have? Oops. Oh yeah, he's got 143 hit points too. You know, so I'm like, I didn't know that at the time, but all I knew was this KV3 had to die. I bounced off his mid plate there, which I was like, crap. Um, the nice thing is this has got a wicked fast reload. That tank destroyer was getting ready to hit me again. I see the T8, or the T71DA, and then I started seeing rounds come in my keister. And yeah, the M41 Bulldog's got 817 hit points, so it's gonna take me 2, 4, 6, 3, at least a minimum of 3, probably 4 shots to take him out. And if I can get my turret to work or mouse to work, and the KV3's got 326, 240 average damage. That's why I like the 280 average damage. Even though he's got 326, it's going to take me 2 shots where 280 average damage, probably not going to roll that high, but there's always a chance. And on this guy, 280 average damage, you're looking at, well, you're still looking at 3 shots, but you never can tell. A lot of times when you get 280 average damage, you'll get a decent roll of 300, so yeah, it's still 3 shots no matter what, but at least it's not possibly 4 or 5 shots. I mean, it just, that's why I hate 230, 240 average pen, or, excuse me, damage on these tanks. I prefer like 280 or higher. Um, so the KV3 shoots us with a premium round, goes through us. I'm just trying to get around on the side just to finish him off, get him killed. So, oh yeah, oh, what? Wait a minute, KV. Yeah, okay. I'm like, did I just finish him off? I'm like, what the heck? Yeah, so I finished out the KV. That was just, it was kind of weird. So we finished out the KV3, but I mean, I got 3 tanks coming on my rear. The Bulldog, a Progetto, 1375. So I got an auto loader. Might as well be an auto loader for the Bulldog because it shoots so darn fast. The T71DA is still over here somewhere. Um, Chiri, that's if I remember right, that's the one with a 3 round magazine somewhere. Um, yeah, we were just, it is down to me. And I'm losing hit points. I'm getting bled out really quick. All I was looking at is who can I get a shot at that either is close to dying or, you know, to try and finish him off or doesn't have any damage so he doesn't walk out of here with no damage at all being done to him. So he's at least going to get hit once. I saw the Progetto had the most health out of everybody, so I'm thinking to myself, we'll take a shot at him. And too late. Just as I get loaded, the Progetto finishes me off. So, yeah, unfortunately, our team just melted in just every way possible. But as you can see, even with this shovel, uh-oh, looks like the shovel's down in the dirt. We're going to be pushing some dirt up. We're pushing daisies, folks. But yeah, even with the shovel there, 232. I'm about 99.999% sure that's what the penetration is on that Tier 7 tank destroyer, which is the MXAC 46. I'm almost positive it's 232 for a standard round. I think premium bumps them up to about 260, 270, something like that. So 232 on his standard round was able to go right through the center of our shovel, through that spaced armor, continue through, and then go through the hull of the tank and hit us for 301, I think it was. Um, Oh, he hit us a bit ago. But you can see even the Amex 1375 where he was shooting us in the butt, bounced, bounced, bounced. So yeah, he was bouncing off our keister. I think it's just we were kind of angled on him too, and then he was trying to drive by us and do damage as he drove by us. So he just needed to aim right there, and he would have penned every single time. Um, oh, actually, he bounced. I'm sorry, he only bounced twice. The Progetto bounced once too from our rear. And this thing's only got 20, like, I think it's 25 millimeters of armor on the hull right here. You shoot that engine right there, and there's a good chance you'll light it on fire too. So, yep, I don't know. Anyways, yeah, if you want to hold on for a minute, I'll have some post-game stats for you. Yeah, this was quite a little bit better game, but unfortunately, we still lost. I want to do the brick wall missions for this, but in order to do those, you have to win a match while you're playing this, and I haven't been able to do that. So, yeah, anyways, if you want to hold on for a minute, I'll be right back. Alrighty. Well, I wasn't sure if I was going to show a second replay. This is the second time I've played it. You can see right down here, two battles, 0% win rate, because both times I've played this, I've had a miserable team. The first time, the first match I had, I didn't push forward too hard. This time I pushed forward because I was top tier. The one big mistake I made, and I'm kicking myself for, was they had the T6E5, that tank destroyer. You know what? These are all medium tanks, I bet you. Yep, I forgot. Let's see this do this. This will make it easier to find it. Yeah, the TS5. That's what it is. So they had a TS5 on the enemy team. I know for a fact that 205 pen is not going to go through his commander's hatch at all. At that commander's hatch is very strong. 205 is not going through it. His lower plate down there. I mean, literally, it's not going to go through it. I've got this, obviously. I've run it, and I know what'll go through that, and that 205 is not going to go through it. So I bumped it up to premium rounds, started aiming for his commander's hatch at that range. I was lucky enough to be able to hit it, and we were able to pen it with premium rounds. Unfortunately, stupid me, I forgot to take it off premium rounds. So unfortunately, I ended up wasting a lot of ammo because there was a lot of other tanks that I would have easily penned without using premium ammo, and I completely dunked it and forgot to take it back and put it on standard. So I do apologize. Believe me, I don't like running premium ammo if I don't have to, due to the fact that I do like to make some credits, but when you're top tier, it's really not necessary, but I meant to just take out the TS5 and then load standard ammo, and by the time I got the TS5 taken out, I was getting swarmed. I didn't have time to even literally reach up to press the number two to, or one or whatever to put it back on standard ammo. I mean, I had tanks in front of me. I had tanks on my side. I had tanks behind me. I was getting shot, and I'm like, what in the hell? Why is my team not helping me? I look up, I'm like, oh, well, that's because I have no team left. It was little old me. So oh boy, yeah. So the hill fell miserably. They started capping us. There's no way I could have turned around to go back and try to work on the cap because we had enemies coming up behind us. So I would have literally been getting shot in the front, back, and everything else. And I was just moving into where they were already getting pummeled. So I was trying to push through on the west side to at least try and win that side because there was a couple tanks over there with me, and I felt if I push through, we win this side, it gives us a chance to turn around and come back and flank our own cap, reset the cap, and hopefully take them out and win. But it just, no, it never happened. So that ended up being a Master Badge Class 1, Fire for Effect, a Master Gunner, Duelist, a Bruiser, we got one bond, and we got a high caliber. WN8 for that match was 6,420. So the match for me was outstanding. Unfortunately for the rest of our team, there was only two other players that even broke over 1,000, I think. Now the enemy team, on the other hand, they had a lot of people do actually pretty good. The Progetto 46 hit us one time and bounced one round for 240. TS5, we put 3 rounds into him for 619, finished him off, knocked out his commander. The 45 TP, we put 2 rounds in him for 484, bounced one of his rounds for 320. The IS, we hit him 2 times for 444. Knocked out his fuel tank, his track, and he got hit for 61 upon his spotting. KV3, we put 5 shots into him for 1,024. Finished him off. Knocked out his track, bounced one of his rounds for 300. So he didn't have the big gun then, because the big gun on that does 390 average damage. So he had like the one, either the small 122 or the 122 does the like the first one, or a 100 millimeter. I'm not really sure, but the AMX AC-46 hit him 4 times for 820 damage, finished him off, bounced one of his rounds. Actually, must have knocked our track off because this is non-penetrating, so he probably knocked our track off. The MX-1375 hit us 2 times and bounced for 270. T-71DA, we put a shot into him for 268. Knocked out his commander, and he bounced 2 on us for 300. When I had so many guys coming at me, I didn't know whether to turn my turret to the back, the front. It was just like you just get so overwhelmed with targets coming at you. You just don't know who to shoot first. I just tried taking out targets as quick as I could that were close to dead. So we knocked out the ace. Well, actually, first we knocked out the TS5. He was the biggest danger. He's got the biggest gun. Average damage is like 400, or was it 400 or 440 in that gun? I always forget. 400. So, he's got the biggest gun, he's got the most armor, and he's got a hell of a pretty fast reload. So he needed to be gone. We did take him out. Well, we helped get him gone first. Then we worked on the, I believe, 45 TP, which is also pretty darn good. Got him, well, I didn't take him out, but we ended up, the team got him gone. And then we started working on the KV3 and the AMX. We took out the AMX because I believe that one still has an autoloader. I think AMX AC, that's a tier 7 if I remember right. That might not have an autoloader, but I still think it does like, well, what, 300 average damage? Well, I will have to look. And then the KV3, of course, we had to get rid of him. And yeah, so I do want to look at the AMX AC-46. That's the 48. So the 48's got a autoloader, but I don't, yeah, that is a hell of a gun. I'm sorry guys, I don't mean to get off track, but I just want to take a peek. So AMX, I see where, here it is. Nope, it doesn't have an autoloader, but it does hit for 300 average damage, and it's got a hell of a gun. 232 standard pen, 263 premium. Reload 863. Yeah, that's pretty darn good. He's got a hell of a weak spot up there, and we took advantage of that big time. I mean, look, that thing's got a tumor and another tumor. That's double tumored. It's a tumor. But anyways, let me get back here. Z-Bulldozer. I'm doing good in it. The average damage in my first in this match here is 2,406. Just unfortunately, I can't get a team that wins. And that happens, and it really sucks. This team was pretty miserable. I did the most damage at 3,659. I had 3 kills, base experience of 703 on a loss. Next guy was the 53 TP with 1,386 damage, 1 kill, 372. Our LT-432, 1,358, 1 kill, 343, and then from there it just goes downhill. I mean, not even over 1,000, but if you look at the enemy team, 2,500, 2,200, 2,000, 1,900, 1,600, 1,400, 1,000. So, and this guy, you might as well say 1,000. So basically over half their team did 1,000 damage or more. That Shiri's a good tank. I like it. I think that's one with the autoloader. It spits out 3 rounds really quick. I don't normally, I know I said this a couple days ago, and like I said then, and I'll say it again, I don't normally do this, throw people under a bus, but I'm going to show you kind of, well, I mean, you'll see in the stats of the players, I'm not going to point them out, but we had one guy that had a WN8 of 15, 1-5, 15, yes, 1-5, you heard me right. And he had a tier 8. I thought this guy's probably biggest tank is a tier 2, and he went and bought a tier 8. No, he had a T32 in his garage. So he actually had up to tier 8. He had 730 some battles. Just a real crappy player. Really, really, really bad. We had a couple players with 200 win 8s, 100 and some WN8. And I mean, I know you can't always count on somebody's WN8, but it's a really good direction pointer to say, yeah, I'm not really going to count on that guy. If his WN8 is 15 and he's got, and I've got XPM, so I know how many matches he has and so on, and he's almost got, let's say, close to 1,000 battles, WN8 of 15, it's like, he's not going to be any help. And then when you got like 3, 4 other players that are just about as good as him, it's like, you know, you're probably going to lose. You can't always count on it, but it is really a good way to look at. That's why I like XVM, because I can tell usually within the first 30 seconds if we're going to even have a chance, if we're going to roll over the enemy team, or if it's going to be a kind of a neck and neck. And it's not always right. There's been times that it looked like we were going to completely get rolled over, and there'll be like 3 super unicoms and 2 unicoms or 3 unicoms on the enemy team, and all greens and good players, and we'll have like maybe 1 super unicom, 1 or 2 unicoms, and the rest are yellow and red, and you're like, oh shit, we're going to get just stomped, and we turn around and somehow win. But it really varies because of if the enemy team, if they all sit back and chai snipe and they, do nothing to help their team, well, then that's gonna, you know, sway it back the other. It's kind of like a teeter-totter. It's gonna, teeter back in your direction if you got enemy teams, even though they're better players. But if they sit back and chai snipe, they don't care about helping their team, and they just want to do damage, and they send the, they let their tanks go out and light them up, and they sit in the red line and shoot at stuff, and so it can really vary depending on how the team plays. And you've got good matches and bad matches. Like this match, I had a phenomenal match. But the match I had, my very first match, yeah, it was kind of a piss poor match because the enemy team got in good areas for gun using their gun depression. I was getting turret shots. I was at long distance, so my the aim on this is just terrible. 0.38 dispersion. So the rounds were going everywhere but where I was aiming. RNG has a factor in that. So it all varies on what's in front of you and what happens. But we had 27 shots, 22 hits, 17 pen. That means I shot all but 2 premium rounds then, I think. Ugh, I don't like shooting premium rounds like that, but like I said, I really screwed up and just forgot to take it off premium rounds. I'll kind of looking forward to if they do what they were talking about with the premium rounds, where I think they cost you a little bit more, but they do less damage. And that way, I think that'll really help me start to remember to change the rounds out, keep an eye on it better or pay better attention. And that way, if I'm, hitting like this tank only hits for, what is it, 240 average damage, I think. So you got to hit stuff a lot of times to get, damage, where you start getting up. I mean, I hit 27 or shot 27 times, hit 22 targets, penetrated 17 and only did 3,600 damage. Where you do that in a tank that does 390 average damage or 400 average damage, 17 shots. Holy crap. I mean, you're up around 6, 7, 8,000 damage. So that's why I just don't like 240 average damage. Even 280 I would be happy with, but 240, Lord, I just absolutely despise it. But yeah, I think if I'm hitting tanks and doing 17 hits and going, wait, why did I do so little? Oh, you retards, you forgot to take it off premium rounds. Oh, look at that. It did cost me extra money and I did penetrate, but I did half the damage. I'll start to really remember. So that'll help me remember to actually change them back to the standard rounds. From a distance of more than 300 meters, 0. It was all close range shots. I thought that tank destroyer, that tier 7 tank destroyer was further than 300, but guess not. We got hit 16 times, 6 pen, 8 bounced. We got hit from some splash damage because, well, when it got down to just me, myself, and I already had nothing to shoot at but me. Damage blocked by our armor was 1,430. Not too shabby. I mean, considering that big old Tuma on the top of the thing, You know, I think maybe a lot of people in that match just really didn't know where to shoot it. And also because I was kind of wiggling around and, um, yeah. But anyways. So we damaged 6, destroyed 3. Damage with our assistance was 61. After all was said and done, we lost 20 grand. Look at that. I mean, I made 157,656 credits and lost 20,000. I lost 118,800 in ammunition. That's what I mean. 205. I would have been penning most every one of those targets except for the TS5s. That's the only one I would have had problems with, and I'm just kicking myself for forgetting to change it back to standard rounds. But anyways, what are you gonna do? Day late and a dollar short. But yeah, so you can see this thing can be a little. It's a tough nut to crack if you're top tier. People don't know where to shoot it, and you can dish some damage out. It's got a, I mean, my reload is 6.14 seconds. I mean, I've got tier 4s and 5s that have a reload that's about that, so a tier 8 with that fast of a reload, pretty darn nice. But, yeah. Anyways, yeah, like I was saying before, this tank, it's like a 50-50 on whether I'd want to say buy it or not buy it. It all boils down to, um, you're getting a tank with a shovel on the front of it. That's a first. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It does have really good armor, except for that Tuma. So if you can hide that, or just wiggle around so they can't get a good clean shot at it, you can do actually pretty darn good with this. But once you're overwhelmed and you got tanks coming from all sides, well, it doesn't matter what you're in, then you're just pretty well screwed. So this one, I can't give it a yes and I can't give it a no. It's a 50-50. If you collect tanks, if you want something that can spit out the damage, it just doesn't do a lot of alpha per hit, yeah, I would say definitely go for it, It's not the fastest tank, but I mean, it's also, it's pretty darn heavy and it's got pretty darn good armor. The gun is okay at best because of that dispersion just sucks. And 205 for standard. Um, when you're top tier, yeah, that's plenty, and it should have been plenty in this. And like I said, I really made a mistake forgetting to take it off the premium rounds. 255 though, if you're bottom tier and there's tier 10s, you're gonna really be slinging the premium then. So I guess that'll give you an idea what's gonna happen if you are, well, if you're bottom tier and you shoot premium rounds like that, you probably will. You might make some credits because you're shooting higher tier tanks and penetrating them, where I was shooting same tier and lower tier tanks, and you don't get as good of credits when you're shooting those with premium rounds. It doesn't equal out, if you know what I mean. So, yeah, unfortunately, and if you're not super good in medium tanks, if you are new to World of Tanks, if you don't know how to side scrape and wiggle and get hauled down and all that stuff, I wouldn't recommend it. It's not a real user-friendly tank. I'm not saying you got to be a super unicom to play it, but you also want to have some knowledge of how to play the tanks, or you're just going to buy it and end up having a win rate of 2. You're just not going to be successful in it. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please click the like button down below and subscribe to the channel. You guys take it easy, be safe, and I will see you on the battlefield.